Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Iman Safari and today I want to talk about timeout strategy with Poly. So if you are interested in learning new things, please subscribe my channel because you are in the right place. After watching this video, you can answer this question. What is timeout resilience strategy? Where we should use the timeout strategy? What will happen after the timeout? How does the timeout strategy operate? What is simple timeout? How does timeout generator work? How does on-timeout event work? And why your method has to have a cancellation token? First of all, what is timeout resilience strategy? The timeout resilience strategy cancels the execution if it is not completed within the specified timeout period. Where we should use the timeout strategy. Guarantee that your caller won't have to wait beyond the timeout for a response. Avoid waiting resources on long-running or hanging operations that are unlikely to succeed. Protect your system from overload or cascading failure caused by slow or unresponsive downstream services. Implement a hedging strategy that executes parallel action and waits for the fastest one. What will happen after the timeout? If the execution is cancelled by timeout strategy, it throws a timeout rejected exception. How does the timeout strategy operate? The timeout strategy operates by wrapping the incoming cancellation token with a new one. In this way, Poly replaces its cancellation token with the original one. And when the specified time expires, it aborts the request. Don't worry if it needs to be clarified. I will show you what happens in the code. I created a simple method to investigate timeout. I put a 3-second delay in my process. I added a controller to my project and created an action to use a simple timeout strategy. We use Resilience Pipeline Builder to create our timeout pipeline and call add timeout method. You should pass your specified timeout to this method. To execute our method, we have to use execute async. Okay, let's run the code. I select simple timeout and execute it. After execute, you can see poly.timeout rejected exception. So you see 2 seconds. This 2 seconds is the timeout that we set in add timeout method. Let's debug the code and see what happened under the hood. I put a breakpoint here and call the API again. After calling API, you can see your cancellation token is false. It means your request not cancelled yet. Press F10 to step over. After that, you can see the elapsed time is over 2 seconds. Is cancellation requested changed to true, which means our request will abort it. Okay, you can see the same result. In addition to simple timeout, you can use timeout generator. The timeout generator supports asynchronous operation. You can see this example, but this is not enough. It might be hard to explain, but I want to combine the timeout strategy with retry to give you a good example. Let's go back to our code. In our timeout controller, I wrote a timeout generator example. Consider you have a timeout and retry in your Poly pipeline simultaneously. In this example, we want to use a timeout generator instead of timeout. Also, We have a simple retry scenario with a 30-second delay and 10 retry attempts in the worst case. I want to increase the timeout by 1 second after each retry. So I wrote timeout generator in this way. You see your timeout add with retry count in each retry. Let's run the code again. Execute timeout generator example. You can see in each retry our timeout increased. 4 seconds. When our timeout set to 4 seconds after 4 retry, we don't count the first one. After 4 retry, our method executes successfully, so you can see the result. So the timeout generator can help us to generate timeout dynamically. It's very good to know about onTimeout event. We can use onTimeout to do specific action when the timeout happened. Let's see that in our code. This is very simple. When you want to define your timeout strategy option, you can set a callback method for onTimeout property. Let's run the code again. The timeout exception thrown, so we can see our console log in console. When you use timeout strategy in Poly, you have to pay attention to some notes. Your method has to have a cancellation token. If your method doesn't have a cancellation token, timeout cannot work and the method takes its time because there is no cancellation token to abort this task. I want to go back to simple timeout and go to get random name with delay. I deleted the cancellation token from test.delay and change delay in 5 seconds for simple investigation. Let's start our code again. We expected the timeout works, but it doesn't because your delay method doesn't have cancellation tokens, so your timeout didn't work.